Welcome to the Steam Channel. We're looking over the recently delivered Lionel Legacy Berkshire in O-scale. We have the iconic nickel plate road 765 on hand, which serves today an excursion service with the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society. Lionel offered the Van Swergen Berkshire in their 2024 Volume 1 catalog. Each of the Berks is equipped with Lionel's latest technology, including the Legacy control system, Bluetooth control, voice control, whistle steam, and a wireless tether between the engine and tender. While the locomotives carry the latest tech, they can also be operated in Trainmaster command control mode or in conventional mode with a standard transformer. Lionel also advertises a powerful maintenance-free motor with a momentum flywheel, electrocoupler on the tender, an authentically detailed cab interior, bicolor illuminated classification lights on the front of the locomotive, which can be changed between white or green. The body, pilot, and trucks of the locomotive are die-cast, and so are the tender and tender trucks. The locomotive also comes equipped with traction tires for the added bite for your longer trains. Designed by Lima Locomotive Works, the Berkshire was an expansion of the Mikado Type 282 design. Prototype locomotive, called the A1, was tested on the Boston and Albany Railroad's Berkshire Hills, and the successful test resulted in an order of 45 Berkshires for the railroad. While Lima pioneered the design, Elco also constructed several classes for various railroads. The Nickel Plate Road would eventually roster 80 of the Berkshires, which raced along the Nickel Plate's 2,170-mile system spanning 5 states. Like so many other steam locomotives of the age, most of the Berkshires would meet the cutting torch as railroads modernized and diesels took over. Several examples of the locomotive class were saved and preserved for future generations. At the request of the city of Fort Wayne, number 765 was ultimately saved and donated for public display downtown. After years of display, the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society was formed in 1972 to secure the locomotive for restoration. On September 1, 1979, this goal was realized, and the 765 moved under her own power once again. The 765 can still be seen in excursion service throughout the Midwest, and we've been fortunate enough to catch her on both Joliet rocket excursions between Chicago and Joliet. Let's take a closer look at Lionel's rendition of this iconic steam locomotive. Starting up at the pilot, you can see the pilot detail, hoses, scale coupler, cut lever, plating detail, grab irons, ladders, and pump detail. One thing that immediately irked me was that a regular Phillips screw was used to retain the scale coupler. Some kind of scale hex bolt would have looked much better here. The smoke box door looked pretty nice, and you can spot the bolt detailing, smoke box dogs, hinge detail, the number plate, headlight and Mars light, marker lights, and the number boards. Again, the number boards and marker lights are secured with non-scale Phillips screws, which are an eyesore. The same style of Phillips screws were also used in the hinges on the smoke box door. You can see there is some paint chipping on the top grab iron on the bottom of the coupler pocket, and on the pilot and pilot step. This isn't huge, but for a $1,500 locomotive, you'd expect them to be delivered undamaged. There was also a white chalky substance on the end of the tender body, but this cleaned off pretty easily, so it was no big deal. The detail on the smoke box was pretty nice, and you can see the builder's plates and the superheater plate. Hose detail, the feed water heater, stack, access hatch with dog detail, and valves. Here you can see the dome detailing, whistle, steam generators, safety valves, handrails, turret, and other fine detailing. The rivet detail on the cab is nice, and you can see the fireman and engineer figures in the cab. Inside the cab, you can see the detail on the boiler backhead, which includes red valves, gauges, pipe detail, and the molded-on firebox. There is a flame flicker effect when the locomotive is in operation. Panning down, you can see the wireless tether and some molded-on detail on the backplate. The trailing truck on this Berk is pretty straightforward. You can see the molded-on journal detail, heart rockers, and piping detail molded on the side frame of the truck. Panning down the locomotive, you can get a good look at the throttle linkage detail, sander lines, valve gear, and other fine detailing. The firebox area was finished really nice, and you can see the stay-bolt detail, piping, ash pan, and other hose detailing. Again, Lionel decided to use a black Phillips head screw on some of the valve gear rods instead of a scale-plated hex head bolt. This is particularly irritating as the rest of the bolts holding the rods together are nickel-plated scale fasteners. In this pan, you'll get a good view of the pony truck, cylinder detail, valve gear, and the running gear. The Berk has nicely painted spoke drivers with white-walled tires. Behind each driver, you can see the brake hanger and brake shoe detail. The tender for this Berk was a nice-looking model and had nice NKP lettering, rivet detail, a load of fine coal in the bunker, and step detail. I particularly like the Buckeye tender trucks as these look great under the tender body. You can see the frame details, journals, coil spring, and bolster detail. Up top, you can get a better look at the coal load, the detailed fill hatches, and other fine detailing. Overall, if Lionel knocked off using unscaled screws, this would be a great iteration of the 765 Berk. I'm generally happy with the locomotive, and it will look good on our future O-scale railroad. Let's get the Berk over to the layout and test out her sound features. You'll notice the smoke unit on the model is off. This model will be in the box until our O-scale layout is started, so I'm not adding any fluid to it at this point.
Dispatcher, am I cleared to the outbound? Over.
Need to hold you. Hold me a signal. Out.
Dispatcher, ready to roll. Can I pull? Over.
You are clear through my limits. Out.
Train orders say holding the siding until 44 clears, then we can take the main. You should be through any minute.
Car knockers heading your way.
Make sure everything's good. Train orders say holding the siding until 44 clears, then we can take the main. You should be through any minute.
Dispatcher, Going to the register room to sign out. Out.
These Berkshires were recently delivered by Lionel and can be purchased from our friends at Train World for $1529.99. Train World also has the recent run of early style Berkshires from Lionel available for $1439.99. We'll throw a link to Train World in the description for those who are interested. We hope you enjoyed this O-Scale review here on the Steam channel. Until next time, we'll catch you on the rails.
Thanks for tuning in for this model train product review here on the Steam channel. Get another high quality look at a new model by clicking on a video preview to your right.